Welcome to Rock the Boat, Dia. Happy Monday.
Yeah, happy Monday to you as well.
Thanks. All right. Well, I always just let my guests kind of take over and introduce themselves because I feel like I wouldn't do it any justice. So
Yeah.
I'll let you let the audience know who you are.
Yeah, of course. So my name is Dhiya. I'm a 16-year-old junior from San Antonio, Texas, and the organization that I co-founded is called Cycles for Change. And so basically, Cycles for Change is a youth-led nonprofit, and it was youth created as well to help end period poverty and raise awareness about menstrual health and break the stigma surrounding menstruation that has been present for generations. And we focus on empowering young women to be comfortable in their own skin and not be afraid. And so, Cycles for Change, the name comes from the idea that menstrual cycles can create a positive change. And so that's where we got that inspiration. And we can create that change by breaking the stigma, promoting period education to students who don't have that access, and making sure that people who are in underserved areas have access to menstrual products. And we're focusing on this mostly in schools where students are in class and they don't have products, so they miss lots of school and their education is affected by this. So we're working on putting those dispensers into those schools.
Wow. So I was just thinking, because obviously, like, I'm going to ask you the why behind it all, but as soon as you mentioned the dispensers, for the longest time, they were everywhere
Hmm.
and in public bathrooms. And I just realized that they're not there anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you too if you know like the reason behind that. But first, I would love to know the reason why you're so passionate about doing this because even when you say the word period, it's
Hmm.
interesting how like someone like myself who's older, I'm a little bit like, ooh, we're this okay, we're going there. Well, this is what we're talking about, right? Where I feel like
Hmm.
for a lot of you, it's not that big of a deal. So
Yeah.
I would love to hear how this all started.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of it stemmed from me and my friend learning that there were students in our own school facing this problem who didn't have access to the menstrual products they needed. And I eventually did more research and I came to learn that so many students miss school because of their period and because they didn't have those products that they needed. And that would take away like a week each month, and that's so much valuable learning that they're missing out on. And that really just ignited what we wanted to fight for. And additionally, just like coming from just we were also in that same situation where we whenever we heard the word period, we would just get like like it's
Yeah.
something weird to talk about, but
Yeah.
we've been working on breaking that stigma, and it's become something so comfortable to talk about at this point because of the work we've been doing.
Yeah, well, I'm on the mo pun intended, on the end of the cycle where now at my age, at age 50, the conversations I'm having with my friends are perimenopause and menopause. And it's interesting, even that's kind of like we are just don't have much knowledge around that topic either. And so I see that that topic is starting to get destigmatized as well because more and
Yeah.
more people are talking about it. So
Hmm.
it's kind of cool to be on the other spectrum of it when
Hmm.
you're talking about, the initial, getting a period. And now I'm
Hmm.
like, now we're talking about when we don't have it anymore. So the question around like not having the dispensers in public bathrooms anymore, was it a financial thing? Do you even know? I'm curious.
I'm not sure, but I think it might be because that you do have to put in coins for those to get access to those period products. And I think that was a main thing that deterred a lot of women away from using those products. And I think that's what our main goal is to fight against, make sure those products are free because they're equal to toilet paper, so it should be free as well.
Yeah, and if you think about it, less and less people are carrying around change.
Mhm.
And,
Yeah.
and back in the day, I think it was a quarter in order for
Uh-huh.
to get a
Yeah.
tampon or a pad. And I will say, like, I still kind of, there are moments where I'm in the bathroom, like, gosh darn it, I wish that you would have,
Yeah.
I would have access to this too. Um, so I'd love to hear really, like, I guess the process of like your education and what you're trying to do with your
Yeah.
nonprofit. Yeah.
Of course. So, what we have like a combination of things that we do. So we also like for breaking the stigma, specifically, we have a podcast, a newsletter, and also a blog where students just like in general public can submit to us and we can post their pieces that they've written that empower women. It can be anything on the topic of that, and it doesn't have to be specifically towards menstruation. And also we host these combined events. We've hosted this twice with Days for Girls, where we partnered to make cloth pads, and we had some volunteers come in, and it was around 30 volunteers, and I think the second time we had a little more, 40, and we made those cloth pads. They brought in the materials, sewing machines, all of that, and then afterwards they send it over to underserved students in Africa, girls who don't have access to those products in Africa. And because those pads are cloth, it's able to be reusable for them, and it's more easy for them to use. And additionally, we also have started doing like awareness events. We had our Halloween bash just like this past Saturday, and it was successful. We were able to outreach to lots of people, had lots of kids come in, and we were able to just like enjoy with them and put out our message to a lot of these communities. And then product distribution wise, we've partnered with this organization called Egal Pads. And what we do is we work with them and connect them to these other schools, and we're working on fundraising so we can give them these underserved schools the initial funding to get the gal pads, and then after that help them incorporate that into their budget, into their own school budget, so they can buy those dispensers by themselves. And our own school has the budget, it has included into their budget to buy menstrual products for students to keep them stocked regularly.
So it's the school's budget, whether it's so it's whether or not they have the funds for it or not. So then are you like let's say for instance there is a school that doesn't have funds, so you can come in and help raise money in
Mhm.
order to raise the funds so that they can then
Mhm.
offer. Okay, very
We've
cool.
also had some initial funding. We've raised over $3,500, so we can also put that towards some independent school districts that we're working with right now. Right now, we're in the process of working with two underserved school districts, and we're trying to get these products into their bathrooms. And
Wow.
additionally, we've just started our ambassador program, and we have like this is the first cohort, and it's like around 10 students, and it's from all over the United States. We have students from different states all over, and it's basically they're going to be bringing our mission to their own state, outreaching, bringing that same passion there as well.
It's fascinating to hear this, that it has to take someone like yourself and your organization to go into a school and help fund and help raise
Mhm.
funds as
Yeah.
opposed to the government or as it's shocking to me. So I hope when people hear this, they realize that yeah, there is a level here of like what is happening that we can't even provide something that is really necessary. This is
Yeah.
needed, right? It's not like
Mhm.
I want this because it's, cool. No, like this is a necessity. So it is
Mhm.
kind of sad to hear that not all schools have funds for this. So I love to hear that you're doing what you can. So then when you go to a school, are you the one reaching out like personally? Do you go in person? Do you call? Do you ask for the principal? Like how I want to know that process.
Yeah, so far, me and my co-founder, we've been reaching out through email because these underserved schools, we've been reaching out to these schools that are in like rural areas in Texas right
So it's
now.
not easy to
And
get to. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
we've been reaching out to nurses, focusing on them because they have more power on that topic itself.
Wow. And how many are on your team right now besides you and your co-founder? Like
Yeah,
your
of
direct
course.
team?
So, correct team, me and my co-founder are like the main, and then we have two social media directors. We have a blog and podcast and newsletter head, and then we have a social media technology person who makes our website, and then we've got that group of ambassadors that are coming in, and we're hoping to outreach to more to grow our team further.
That's very impressive. I'm always so jealous when I hear that you guys have teams of people, and I'm over here just trying to figure out how I can get one person to help
Yeah.
me. So I'm always like, I get a little jealous, I'm not gonna lie. No, but that's fantastic. And then you said you have a podcast, so I would love to hear like what kind of conversations you're having on this podcast.
Yeah, so we like it's ongoing and we've released like two episodes, but our podcast we talk about like how period poverty is in different regions because we can like living in the US we might have more opportunities
Mhm.
to products than others. So we talk about how there are systems in like Nepal that prevent women from going to a school and all those kind of things in other regions of the world. And we've started that series where we talk about how period poverty affects students in different regions. And so people can understand how there is this disparity in how we are treated.
So how do you do your research? I would love to hear
Yeah,
that too.
so what I do is usually I'll scour the web, find out like about for example, Nepal, we learned about this system they had that where women had to be put in like a separate shed or something when they're in their period. And I would just do more research on that topic and expand on it and then maybe cut down some information so it's streamlined for when I'm actually speaking on the podcast.
So then when you have do this outreach, because you said that you have donated to schools in Africa, so then who are your contacts in other countries? Like same thing, do you just kind of email somebody in hopes
Oh,
that they'll
so
respond?
basically, yeah, for that products that we sent to Africa, the company that we partnered with was Days for Girls. So we volunteered to make those products with them, and they would bring us all the materials, and they would ship off all those pads to Africa.
So they had the
They
contact.
have the contact, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I was going to say, how do you even find the
Yeah,
contacts? Like for instance, in Nepal, I'm assuming that at some point you're going to want to have contacts over
yeah.
there. So if anyone's listening that has any contacts in Nepal, I'm trying to think, I'm like, I have none. I would have thought that at this point, maybe, but no, I'll keep my eye out for that.
Yeah.
So then you're 16, right? So
Hmm.
you're a junior?
Yes.
Okay, so you still have, so are you right now in the process of looking at colleges, like getting an idea
Hmm.
of what is it that you want to do?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I'm actually really involved in this club called DECA. It's a business
Mhm.
club.
Yeah, I've
And
heard of it.
so I've been involved in it because I've been really interested in business. So I want to go into like the business analytics field. And I've been looking at that. And in some way, I want to combine advocacy in that as well because I want to use some of this at advocating for getting free products for periods in schools as well.
Yeah, I think that's a good combination because I'm struggling right now with I'm someone that has like the ideas, I have the vision, but when it comes to executing things and like having, strategy and more of like a process,
Hmm.
that to me is really hard. So like I'm in the moment of thinking, who do I know that is business savvy that can kind of help guide me with these ideas. So if you're like wanting to go into business, but you also have great ideas, obviously you have a
Hmm.
vision, that's going to be a nice little balance for you. Because yeah, usually it's like one or the other, where people are that like
Hmm.
analytical brain.
Yeah.
So what schools, what kind of major are you looking into?
I was looking into like data analytics major and schools wise, I was thinking maybe like these Texas schools. I know UT Tech Austin is a very good school here in
Hmm.
Texas. And yeah, maybe A&M, UTD.
Okay.
Definitely more of these Austin schools, but definitely I would try and reach out as well. Like just try my luck at other UCLA, all these other schools as well.
Yeah, I just that's where I went, and I just had several friends of mine come down from the other areas, and we just had like a little
Hmm.
reunion this weekend with a group, and then 2 weekends ago with another group of UCLA friends. And
Oh, that's so fun.
yeah, I try to tell you guys, like, my own kids that went to college, that these are friendships that you're going to form for
Hmm.
life. So I think that's really exciting for you. And so you're in San Antonio. I could have been born in San Antonio. My parents lived there. They got married there, and then they moved to San Diego, I think 2 years before I was born, but I could have been a Texan.
Yeah.
I've never been though. I've never been to San
Oh, you
Antonio.
should come. It's a really great
Yeah.
city.
Yeah, I hear it's great. There's like a river walk or something that you have all
Uh-huh.
these
Yeah.
like places. Yeah, it seems kind of cool. I'll definitely have to visit. But yeah, I think more and more people, because it's expensive to go to school.
Hmm.
So in state is a thing. I mean, I
Yeah.
went in state. My son did. Yeah. So that's so data analytics. I'm always like
Yeah.
so intrigued by stuff like that because like I said, I'm nothing. So besides obviously cycles for change and you have, college coming up, like do you have any other hobbies and any other interests that you have?
Hmm. Yeah, I'm also an Indian classical dancer I've danced for over 12 years now. And this past summer I just had my solo debut and it's called like an Arangetram and you dance for like around 5 hours straight. There's like pauses in between, but it's like 7 dances straight. And I just finished that this past summer.
Oh my
So I was able
goodness.
to do that. And then also, again, DECA, I'm our chapters president at our school. And for our district, which is like all of San Antonio, I serve as the vice president. And also, yeah, I joined HOSA this year. I used to be a policy debater. It was a lot of work. So I took some time off from that. And I also, this cohort, like for this fall year, I'm in the Yale Entrepreneurial Society, and it's to help you like gain these entrepreneurial skills. And they put you into these groups and it's a global thing. So I'm in a group with someone from Singapore and like someone from Virginia as well. So we're able to gain different perspectives and work on like this product that we're going to pitch at the end of the cohort as well.
Oh my God. Do you know where in Virginia this person is from?
No, I'm not sure,
Oh,
but.
I lived in Virginia for 24
Mhm.
years before I moved back to San Diego. So I raised my kids there. So
Hmm.
I know Virginia pretty well. So I was
Yeah.
just I was just curious. Wow. So I have to ask you this because this was like a theme that was really relevant throughout the film was just like the pressure and expectations and from, all of you when you're in high school. And I'm listening to you list off all these things that you're doing. And it's amazing how many people hear about it and they're just like shocked at the amount of work and extracurricular things that you guys are doing in order just to get into college.
Hmm.
So, I mean, do you feel the pressure? Do you feel like that's what you're supposed to do? That's the expectation?
Yeah, I definitely feel like there's this like preconceived notion that you're supposed to do all of this and that if you don't, you're falling behind.
Yeah.
But I think for me, myself, I actually enjoy doing these like things related to business, these extracurricular activities, because I know many students, they just do it because the sake of like you need that on your college app. If you're not doing that, you're going to fall behind. But sometimes when you actually like enjoy the activity you're doing, you gain so much more than actually getting something extra to add on to that college app and resume.
Yeah, I am finding that you guys really do enjoy what you're doing.
Hmm.
So I think it might also be a way for all of you to be exposed to things that maybe you weren't exposed to
Yeah.
before, and then recognizing, wow, I really enjoy this, and maybe this is something I want to do future wise, which I think is cool. Again, like I think like my age group, we didn't think that way.
Hmm.
We just thought like okay, we were like so focused just on what we thought we were going to do, and we didn't really like have much of an open mind like all of you do.
Hmm.
So I think that's a different element. But again, it does also put a lot of pressure and stress on all of you because I also look at your generation and go, gosh, you guys like aren't able to just be kids and you guys are growing up so fast. Like, do you feel like you guys are growing up pretty quickly
Yeah.
compared to like your parents and your grandparents?
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I feel like at that time they were able to actually live in the moment and enjoy those things they had to offer at that time.
Yeah, I asked somebody this the other day and I love their answer. So I'm curious with you, if there was something that you could experience that maybe your parents or grandparents experienced, like what would it be? Like
I
something that we
think
got, yeah, that you wish that you
definitely
guys.
like living like that village life because both my parents were born and brought up in like small rural villages. Would definitely like to live around a village where there's like small wells and you can play with the kids around you and you know everyone in like your
Mhm.
town. I feel like that's like such a community feeling and
Yeah.
it's like just such a familial feeling.
Yeah, I am finding that a lot of you guys are really trying to find community because it's different now. And I do understand that a lot of community is online, especially when it was like during COVID. Because how old were you? Were you were what, 11
Yeah, I
or
think so.
so? So how did that affect you? Because at 11, I'm not going to assume you had a phone or you had social media. You didn't have, did you have any of that at the time?
No, I had like my dad's like old phone, but I never used it. It was just yeah, I was like sixth grade. I was like
Okay.
11. Like all of the learning I did was online. It was really hard to like understand what was going on. But at that time as well, I think I took that opportunity to actually start a blog at that time, like when I was in COVID. I started like this blog just writing whatever I felt was like right. I also write prose and poetry for fun.
Wow.
And so I wrote like stuff about women empowerment. I continue to. But yeah, I took that time in the COVID time. I think it gave me lots of time to think.
Hmm.
And in that, I was able to expand my horizons and learn to write prose and also poetry.
Wow. So how did you maintain your friendships, your relationships? Like, were you allowed to like go visit them and have, like, were you in a neighborhood that you could see your friends, or did you have to make the effort to communicate with them? I don't know if you had a landline. Like, how did that work?
Yeah, definitely it was making the effort. Like in school, we used Microsoft Teams for like communicating for like school activities, and we would just like pop up each other's names and we would also text through that as well because we needed that to communicate for school anyway. And I think we'd meet like after everything like died down a little bit because I think everyone was still scared about like what COVID had and what could
Yeah.
happen. So it definitely came from the initiative that like someone took and think that's how you had to keep them connected.
Yeah, I think a lot of adults kind of forget that your age group, being disconnected from your peers and from your friends, like what that actually does psychologically. Do you feel now that it's 5 years later that it did affect you psychologically in some way? Like if it gave you kind of social anxiety and not, I know that anxiety is a big thing that came of it. Do you recognize anything that maybe it affected you?
Yeah, I think right because before COVID I used to be very extroverted, but I think right after COVID I became more shy, more introverted, and definitely got lots of social anxiety after
Yeah.
that. And I worked a lot to break that, and I've been able to come out of that shell like at this point. But I think it took a while because
Yeah.
COVID really pushed me into that like hole where I was like very conscious of what everyone thought of me.
Yeah, and that's something that I always try to kind of ask and of you guys so that you can explain better because I think still a lot of people don't really understand the effects. As an adult, it can be very different. Like for me,
Hmm.
I actually loved it because I was like, ooh, it gives me the opportunity to watch Netflix and just be at home and not have to talk to anyone. You know what I mean? And like I can do my own thing but at age 11, you have to
Yeah.
entertain yourself. Like luckily you had something that fulfilled you when you were doing your
Hmm.
blog and everything,
Yeah.
but there were some kids that really were just lost and like, what do
Yeah.
I do? So I love when I love when you guys are open and honest And I
Hmm.
appreciate that about your experience during
Yeah.
that, because again, it'll better help
Yeah.
people understand really the effects
Hmm.
of it.
Yeah, and it definitely was a stark contrast because I was this very openly extroverted person who would talk to anyone, and then yeah, it really pushed me into this bubble. But it's like I've been breaking it, putting myself out there. Gaining that confidence took a
Yeah.
lot, but DECA has been really helpful in that.
Yeah, because now you have these communities with your
Yeah.
groups. And so again, now you get to be in person and is like, are you good about when you are with your friends about putting your phones away and about really
Hmm.
trying to be present in the moment?
Yeah, I know like some people they're constantly on their phones with their friends, but my friends we always joke around. We're not on our phones when we're together. We're always like laughing, talking about inside jokes. It's mostly more like I feel like I'm way more extroverted when I'm with my friends because I can talk to them about like all of these things. And yeah, we just discuss those things when we're together because usually we meet at school, so we take that time to actually like interact with each other and not be on our phones and just like waste that time together.
Yeah, I find that adults are the ones that are on their phone more now. Like if you go out, like it's funny, it's the parents now that are
Mhm.
like it's just on their phone.
Yeah.
And so that's another thing where I tell people, I'm like, I think you might have it a little bit wrong here when it comes to like
Yeah.
assuming that the younger generation stuck with their phone. I mean, and on that note, is there something that you wish like people, at least, again, older generations would kind of understand more about your generation? Is there something specifically that you're like, I wish they would maybe cut us some slack on this or,
Yeah.
that they would better
Um,
understand?
Yeah, I think the thing for us younger generation, I think we have a double-edged sword. It's like they want us to do so much, but then when we're doing a lot, they want us to relax. So then it's like, what am I supposed to do? And yeah, we're always striving to do more, but when we don't know what that peak is, like when are we supposed to stop? And I think a lot of us forget why we're doing the stuff, why we're actually motivated to do more, because then what are we getting out of it? And sometimes it might just be we're doing the stuff for doing it. But just understanding that it's kind of a double-edged sword. We're just trying to get higher
Yeah.
and learn more. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that you said that because, with my girlfriends, they're all, most of them are moms and all our kids are different ages. And we were just saying that it's really unfortunate that again, like we complain that you guys are on your phones or playing video games and you aren't outside, and then you're outside and it's suddenly like people are complaining that you're too loud or you're like, oh,
Yeah.
they're running the muck in this neighborhood and they're doing all these things. The things that we used to do. I mean,
Mm.
the TPing where you were toilet paper people's house and
Oh,
like
yeah.
egg them in the ding dong door ditch or whatever, and just like all these things.
Hmm.
We forget that we were kids once, and that is something that I love that
Yeah.
you said that because again, that's something that people need to understand that you cannot
Hmm.
have it both ways. You can't
Yeah.
yell at someone for being outside and having fun, and then when they go inside because they're being yelled at, then they're being yelled at inside because they're not outside doing,
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
doing something. So yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from with that. So thank you for sharing because
Yeah, of
yeah.
course.
All right. Well, I mean, we're kind of rounding out with time. I didn't know if there was anything else that you'd like to share about yourself or anything else that you'd like to say. The floor is yours.
Think that's about it, but Cycles for Change is my main passion and what I'm working towards. And just, I'm really passionate about women empowerment, just helping women in all spheres all together.
Yeah, that's fantastic. If anybody wants to reach out in some way, wants to help or get involved, what's the best way they can do that?
Yeah, you can reach out on our Instagram. Our Instagram is at cycles_for_change. And you could just shoot us a DM and you can connect with us.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I love that I get to kind of be the platform that gets to share so many of your initiatives and nonprofits. I always think it's so inspiring and I love that you guys are making such an impact. So keep doing it, keep giving us hope, you
Yeah.
know. So thank you so much, Dia.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me and allowing me to share what I do and my mission.
Absolutely. All right. Well,
Thank
take
you.
care.